Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm doing my Week 14 NFL Power Rankings. This is one of the longest series on the channel, and is by far the most productive. A lot of people find the channel through this, so if you're new to the channel, welcome. This was a very interesting week of football, so let's get right into it. Just because I need to show this graph. Every YouTuber shows it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, because most of you aren't. Let's get into the So we start off once again with the dumpster fire. We start off with the dumpster fire every single week, and it is unsurprisingly unchanged. The Jets are still at the bottom, the Bengals are still at 31, and the Jaguars are still at 30. The Jets almost beat the Raiders this week. They couldn't quite do it. The Bengals lost to the Dolphins in a pretty sad game. Their quarterback is gone, and there's nothing else to be said there. And the Jaguars are at number 30. They've played a couple of good games the past couple of weeks. They've been close, positive games for the team, but they're still just no. Their team still isn't there. They still can't win games. They're number 30. Now we move on to the bad category. We have the Cowboys at 29. We have the Eagles at 28. The Chargers at 27 and the Bears at 26. I couldn't think of a better name for this category. There's just nothing else to describe these teams except for bad. The Cowboys don't have Dak Prescott. They haven't played any great games since he was gone. The Eagles are at 28. They're nothing impressive. They've lost a lot of games in a row. I think that they were at one point 3-4-1, and now they are 3-8-1. That's not 100% accurate, but yeah, they're not doing any better. The Chargers just lost 0-45 to the Patriots. They got shut out in their biggest shutout in team history. The Chargers have potential. They have a good team. They have a good offense. They just need to change their coaching. They need to pick it up on special teams, and their defense needs to improve a little bit. But right now, the Chargers are looking like they have potential, but this season they're not very good. At number 26, we have the Bears rounding out the bad teams. They started off 5-1. Now they are 5-7. There's not really much else to be said there. If you lose 6 games in a row, you're a bad team. Moving on, we have the future potential teams. The Lions just came back with a win against the Bears. They lost. They got shut out by the Panthers a couple weeks ago, and now they are back. They are number 25 right now after beating the Bears. Matthew Stafford has been up and down this season. The team itself has been up and down. They played some really weird games. They played some good games. They played some bad games. They are 5-7, and right now they are number 25. Number 24 with the Panthers. The Panthers beat the Lions 20-0 a couple weeks ago, as I just said. That's the reason why they're above them. Not really a whole lot else. Both of those teams aren't very impressive, and that's why they're 25 and 24. Number 23, we have the Washington football team, who's been improving week by week. They have not played yet this week. I don't believe they have a bye week. They may have a bye week. I'm not 100% sure on them. But they're doing very well for themselves. They're in the race for their division. They're 4-7. They beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and they're looking like they could potentially win their division. At number 22, we have the Broncos. Broncos just lost to the Chiefs as expected. They played some good games against some potentially playoff teams. They beat Miami. They beat the Patriots. They beat another really good team too. The Broncos are not all bad, but they haven't shown anything impressive recently, and they're at number 22. At number 21, we have the Falcons. The Falcons have Matt Ryan. They have a decent, but they have a terrible defense. I was about to say their defense was decent, but I can't say those words. Their defense is just so horrendously bad, and they lost twice to the Saints without Drew Brees. The Saints are a very good team, but they don't even have their quarterback. You would expect the Falcons' offense to be able to step it up, but they just haven't been able to. They beat the Raiders last week, which is a redeeming quality of the last 2 games of the season for them, but right now the Falcons are number 21. Next up, we have the up-and-coming teams. We have the 49ers at 18, the Giants at 19, and the Texans at 20. The Texans have played some good games the past few weeks. They beat the Patriots. They played a hard game against the Colts this week. They are currently 4-8, and they are improving. They're better than the teams that I just mentioned previously, and they have a very strong offense. Their defense is what's holding them back, but so far this season, the Texans have had nothing to complain about. Well, they could be doing much better than 4-8, but they can have a very good season next year if they can improve their defense. At 19, we have the Giants. The Giants have officially won 4 games in a row. They are 5-7, and they're looking to win their division. They're currently trending towards winning their division right now, and I think that they're probably going to. They have a couple of divisional games to close off the season, and they have the best record in their division. So I think that the Giants are currently looking to, and probably will end up winning the NFC East, getting that playoff spot. At number 18, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They're 5-6. They've been up and down all season, and at number 18, I think that fits their scheme perfectly. They had some really good offensive plays last week. This week they're playing the Bills tomorrow night, and I'm excited to see that game. Next, we have the borderline playoff teams. This is the first category of borderline playoff teams. There's 2 of them. So at number 17, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who are 6-6. The Vikings just won this week against the Jaguars. It wasn't a very impressive win, but they still are borderline playoff. They improved from 1-5 to 2-5 to 6-6, and right now I think 17 is a very good spot for them. They're improving. They're going in the right direction. They have a pretty solid team. At number 16, we have the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals lost this week to the Rams. They are officially not winning their division. Their record in their division is way too bad. They are 6-6, and the Vikings are currently looking to potentially dethrone them from the playoffs. Both of these teams have looked up and down throughout the season. The Cardinals started off strong, the Vikings started off weak, and now they're both around 6-6. At 15, we have the Raiders, who are currently 7-4. Or 7-5, and we have the Ravens, who are 6-5. So the Raiders are 7-5. They played this week against the Jets, and they almost lost. They won at the last second by a Hail Mary throw by Derek Carr, and that's not acceptable. If you're potentially a playoff team, you don't almost lose to the Jets. And almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but the Raiders took a dive this week. They're one of the first teams to go down in a win. Also, the Ravens are at number 14 right now. They've had an up and down season. They just lost Lamar to COVID. They got beat by the Steelers last week, although they played a good game. And with Lamar, I would say that they're probably 14. They're probably right above the Raiders. They've had a decent season. It's nowhere near their season last year, though. Both of these teams are currently in the playoffs, and I have them as borderline right now, but they're currently in the playoffs. At number 13, we have the New England Patriots, and a lot of people are going to get mad at me for having them above playoff teams, but we've beaten the Cardinals, we've beaten the Raiders, and we've beaten the Ravens. If we hadn't beaten all 3 of those teams, the Patriots would not be number 13, but right now, we're number 13. Patriots are 6-6 after their 45-0 win against the Chargers. The Chargers haven't lost to any team by more than 10 points the entire season. We just blew them out 45-0. Cam Newton is 6-5, so Cam Newton is not 6-6. We lost to Kansas City without him. Cam Newton is currently 6-5. The Patriots have had their ups and downs this season, but overall, I think although we may not make the playoffs, we are a playoff team. Number 12, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are currently 7-5. They had a bye week this week, and they've had a strong season. They started off strong. They've gotten weaker as the season progressed, and I think 7-5 is a solid place for them at the moment. They've been up and down. Their defense has been regressing recently, and Tom Brady is still in the MVP race. His candidacy has slowed down a little bit, but they do have an MVP candidate, and they are a strong team. At number 11, we have the Dolphins. The Dolphins are currently 8-4, and they are the lowest team with 8 wins on this list. I almost put the Buccaneers above the Dolphins, but I disrespected the Browns last week. There's no way I was going to put the Dolphins below a team without 8 wins. So the 8-4 Dolphins are number 11 right now. They have a very strong defense and a very weak offense. They win a lot of their games on defense, and that's not really typical in this NFL. Our next category here is the Blue Man Group version 2. I got some comments about this category last week, so I wanted to bring it back. The Rams graduated from the Blue Man Group this week, and the Seahawks got sent right back in. The Buffalo Bills also increased a spot because Seattle's game was just that bad. So the Colts are at number 10. The Colts played a decent game this week. They're currently 8-4. and they're in the 10th spot. They beat the Texans 26-20. The Texans are improving, but it still wasn't impressive. It wasn't too impressive of a win against a 4-8 team. We have the Seahawks at number 9, who just lost to the 5-7 Giants. And I like the Seahawks. Their defense is improving. I will give them that. They have a mediocre defense now, but their offense has regressed as their defense has improved. And I think that's going to hurt them down the stretch. They're no longer leading the division. They're 8-4. The Rams are now leading the division, and it's going to be a tough way. It's going to be a tough road for them down the stretch. They're going to make the playoffs, but once the playoffs hit, it'll be interesting to see how Seattle handles it. And number 8, we have the Bills. People were commenting last week about where I had the Bills. I think that the Bills are in a solid spot. They're 8-3. I have them at number 8. They're above the 2 8-4 teams, and I haven't seen anything too impressive from them. That's the reason why they're number 8. They played some good games, but they also played some really bad games. So I think 8's a very good spot for the Bills. At number 7, we have the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams just improved to number 7 after winning 38-28 against the Cardinals. The Rams have been hovering between number 5 and number 10 for the past few weeks, ever since their winning against Seattle. And right now, I think number 7 is a very good spot for them. At number 6, we have the Tennessee Titans. And at number 5, we have the Cleveland Browns. So, this is what my apology is. I had the Browns at number 15 last week. I thought that Cleveland had not played anyone. Their schedule was terrible, and they were 1-3 against teams with a winning record. I hadn't watched a single Cleveland Browns game. I looked at because I haven't had any of them at my house that I was able to watch, and I looked at their statistics to estimate how good their team was. I had a couple of comments about the Cleveland Browns in the comment section, and I challenged one person. I said, if the Tennessee Titans beat the Cleveland Browns, I will add a 1-minute apology to the Browns in my next Power Rankings video. So I apologize to the Cleveland Browns for ever not believing in their team. They're currently 9-3. The Titans are 8-4. Although the Titans did give them a run for their money, the Browns stood strong, and they got the win. They're a 9-3 team. You can't knock a 9-3 team, even if they have a negative point differential. And the Cleveland Browns are at number 5. Number 6 is the Tennessee Titans. Although they did lose to the Browns, they lost to a 9-3 team. So they're a strong team. I like Derrick Henry. I like the chemistry he has with Ryan Tannehill, and their defense is solid. It's not a great defense, but it's a solid defense. And I think at number 6, the Titans have a very good spot. Last but not least, we have the NFL's Elite. This category has been around since the beginning of these power rankings, and it's gone from 4 teams to 3 teams to 4 teams. And right now the Packers are changing it up again. They're going back to 4 teams, and they just earned their spot this week in the NFL's Elite. Now, I know a win against the Eagles is not what put them in the NFL's Elite, but last week I thought that the teams that came after the top 3 were all pretty similar, but after this week I think that there's a clear divide between the Packers and the strong contenders. So the Steelers are number 1, the Chiefs are number 2. I know I've gotten a lot of comments in the past about Steelers, Chiefs, Steelers, Chiefs. The Steelers have the best defense in the league. They have the best turnover differential. They're undefeated, and they have a very strong offense. There's no reason why the Steelers should not be number 1 on this list. The Chiefs are number 2. They have a strong defense, not as strong as the Steelers. They have one of the best offenses in the league. I think 2 is a very strong spot for them, and they play very well football. They play very good football. At number 3, we have the Saints, and number 4, we have the Packers. The Saints haven't lost since week 3, and they're currently 11-2. They're 10-2. There's not really a whole lot to say about the Saints, other than the fact that they've won the last 3 games even without Drew Brees. They haven't played teams that are very tough, but they've still won without Drew Brees, and that's impressive. And once Drew Brees gets back, if he comes back, they will be a very strong playoff contender. And at 4th place, we have the Packers. The Packers have had a good season all season. Their losses have been spread out. It's been to the good teams, they've lost to bad teams, they've beaten good teams, they've beaten bad teams. And overall, with Aaron Rodgers and that defense, the Packers are a very strong contender for the Super Bowl. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Just remember, these are just my opinions. I'm not trying to make anyone upset. I'm not trying to say anything about a team. I don't dislike any teams except for the New York Jets. I'm just saying that these are my opinions, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. So, if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Again, most of you aren't subscribed, so if you did enjoy my content, then make sure to subscribe. I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.